Hello guys, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new on this channel, be sure to subscribe because I post video every week, so you don't want to miss out. In this tutorial, I'm going to be showing you how to make a basic bodice pattern. This pattern, you can use it to make different styles, and we are going to be using it in this channel as well. So please subscribe, give this video a thumbs up if you like it, and share it with your family and friends. So let's get started. So for this basic bodice, the first thing I'm going to do is to draw an horizontal line, which is going to be like my starting point, and it's also going to be the shoulder line. So after drawing out the shoulder line, I'm going to take the measurement from my shoulder to my chest, which is my shoulder to bust. The shoulder to bust for this basic bodice is 10 inch. So I'm going to go ahead and mark 10 inch. Then I grab my pattern master and I rule that out. Okay, the next measurement is going to be my shoulder to my waist, and the shoulder to waist is 16 inches. Okay, so my 16 inches is here. Then I also take my ruler and I draw out an horizontal line. Okay, and the next thing is to measure from your shoulder to hip is 25 inches. Let me shift that to the camera so you can see. So my 25 inches is here. Then I go ahead and draw out that as well. Okay. All right, so the next thing now is for me to take the dimension of my neck, and the neck width is going to be 3 inches, which is a standard. So just place the neck width like that, and the neck depth is also 3 inches, which is also a standard. So then I grab my French curve and then I draw out the neckline like that. So the next thing is for me to measure the shoulder. The shoulder is 15 inches and the half of that is going to be 7.5. So then I'll place my 7.5 inch right there. Okay, and also you go ahead and draw your armhole. The armhole, the standard for an armhole is actually 9 inches for an average woman, but if you don't want to use that, you can take the measurement, the circumference of the chest divided by 6 plus 1. That is going to give you the specific armhole for that particular person you want to make your dress for. For me, it's 8. So I'm going to mark 8 inches right there. If you are not sure of the calculation, or you don't want to make it exact, you can just go ahead and make it 9 inches, which is the standard for an average woman. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is to place 1 inch from the shoulder line down towards the armhole. Okay, and that is going to give you the shoulder slope because our shoulder is not entirely straight. So then from that point you connect it to the neck width. So make your slant line and connect it to the neck width like that. All right. So, and you remember I took 8 inches here for my armhole depth. So from the point of that 8 inches, go ahead and draw out an horizontal line. So that is going to be your chest line. So the next thing for us to do is to insert the bust measurement. The bust measurement for this pattern is 34 inches, and we are going to divide the 34 inches by 4. So actually I just realized that I don't have I don't have a back panel under my sheet. This is just a single sheet. So what I'm going to do now is to fold this into two. So the chest measurement, like I said, is 34 inches, and that's divided by 4 gives me 8.5. And I'm going to be adding half of an inch to that 8.5. 8.5 plus 0.5 that's going to give me 9 inches. So I'm going to place my 9 inches on my chest line like that. Okay, so the next thing, I'm going to take my waist measurement, and the waist measurement is 26 inches. 26 inches divided by 4 gives me 6.5, and to that I'm going to be adding 1 inch for the dart. 6.5 plus 1 inch dart gives me 7.5, so I'm going to place my 7.5 right here. The next thing for me to insert now is to insert my hip measurement. The hip measurement is 35 inches. 35 inches divided by 4 gives me 8.75. 8.75 plus half of an inch, that's going to give me 9.25. Okay, and that half of an inch is also for ease for the dart. Okay, so I'm going to place my 9.25 on the hip line like that. All right, so the next thing for me to do is to connect those 3 points. And depending on how long you want your dress to be or your top to be, you can just go ahead and continue this line. You can continue it straight down. The next thing is to insert the dart, and for the dart you need your nipple to nipple measurement. So your nipple to nipple measurement divided by 2, then plus half of an inch. The reason why we do that is because, like I said earlier, this is just half of the front panel and this is half of the back panel also. So, and the distance between your nipple to nipple is the same as the distance between the two darts. Okay, and since this is the half, so that means, for instance, one of your nipple is here right, and the other nipple is like on the other half of this sheet. So that is why we are taking only half. That is why we are dividing it by 2, and then we are going to add half inch because we are going to put half inch on both sides. So for that, my nipple to nipple measurement is 7 inch. All right, 7 inch divided by 2 is 3.5, and then 3.5 plus half gives me 4. So on my waistline, I'm going to place the 4 inches like that. Okay, and then from there you draw a straight vertical line, and then remember you have to measure half inch to the right of that line and half inch to the left of that line. Okay, so in order to get the length of our dart, we need to take 2 inches upward from the hip line. All right, and from your chest line you measure 1 inch downward. Those are standards. All right, so from there you can connect to form your dart, just like this. All right, so that is the front dart. So, and for the back dart, you are going to take 1 inch downward from this armhole line. So the next thing I'm going to do now is to draw out the neckline of the back side 1 inch deep. So the depth is 1 inch, so that is why I measured 1 inch from my shoulder line downward, and then I have to connect it to the same width as the front. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do now is to draw out my armhole curve. In order to do that, you need to get the midpoint of your armhole, and remember the armhole was 8 inches, so the middle of that is going to be 4. So I measure 4 and I place a mark, and from there I have to come in by 3/4 of an inch. Okay, so 3/4 is something thereabout. All right, so that is going to guide you on how to draw your armhole for the curve for the front. When you draw your curve, you have to draw along this point, and when you draw the armhole curve of the back side, you have to draw it along this middle point on this armhole line like this. So I'm just going to draw that so that you guys can see what I'm talking about. Okay, so that is the armhole curve for my front panel, and then the back panel. So that is going to even give your arm more ease of movement, because if you go ahead and draw the same curve like that of the back panel, it's going to make the armhole tight. I don't know if you've come across the situation whereby you make dress for someone, and then when they are trying to lift their arm, it's like super tight, or the bust area is tight. In order to avoid that issue, just make sure you add about 1/2 inch of ease or 3/4 of ease, and also make sure that the armhole curve of the front panel is deeper than the front. It's going to give enough room. So that's another tip for you guys right there. Okay, so finally we can go ahead and cut out our shape, but we have to cut the back panel first. All right, once you cut the back panel, you can separate it and then cut the front panel alone. So guys, before I cut this paper, I think I changed my mind. I'm going to be adding the seam allowance. I'm just going to be adding 1 inch of seam allowance, because I can, we get fat at any time. So just in case I add some weight, I can still make use of the pattern. So I'm just going to go ahead now and add the seam allowance and then cut it out. So remember, like I said, we are cutting the back panel first. Okay. This is my back. This is the back panel, and now I cut out the front. This marker is really messing me up, guys. Alright, so here goes the front panel as well. With this panel, you can make virtually any design you want. You may just need to, if you need to make a low neck, just make it deeper and cut it out. If you want to make maybe half length, you're just stopping it maybe somewhere here. So with this pattern, you can make almost any design or a lot of designs. waist. Okay, so yeah, that's the end of this video, guys. If this video has been helpful for you, please give it a thumbs up. Be sure to subscribe to my channel, turn on the notification bell, and until next time, see you again. Bye.